So the million-dollar question is there a cure for tinnitus? Has someone figured out how to stop this ringing in my ears? Unfortunately, there is no cure for tinnitus yet, but until then, there have been several scientifically validated and effective management strategies to make tinnitus less of a nuisance in your life. Please be wary of miracle products, services, diets, and treatments that promise to eliminate tinnitus for good. If we remember that there are over 200 health conditions and medications that create a symptom of tinnitus, it's kind of hard to believe that there is a miracle product out there that can cover all of those things. For some of you, it may be difficult to hear that there's no cure. And we sincerely empathize with you because we know that this condition is disruptive, annoying, and incredibly frustrating at times. The best way to make tinnitus less of a burden is to use effective solutions and tools. When equipped with the right strategies, tinnitus can become more manageable and less frustrating. We'll talk about 3 of those strategies now. As I mentioned earlier, hearing loss does not always cause tinnitus, but many patients do have tinnitus symptoms as a result of hearing loss. Hearing loss is not always, "Speak up, I can't hear you." Hearing loss can be very mild, and you won't really know you have it until you get evaluated. Even a mild hearing loss can cause tinnitus symptoms. By its nature, hearing aids can help mask the sound of tinnitus. So let's say your tinnitus is represented by this cricket and its constant chirping noises. Let's say you also have hearing loss that makes it hard to understand people at a certain distance. When you use hearing aids, all the sounds and speech you had trouble hearing before are brought up and are made more clear. And while your tinnitus is still there in the background, the hearing aids help you focus more on what's happening around you. The tinnitus sort of falls to the background and becomes less prominent. Hearing aids are wonderful because they have custom programming that is meant for your specific hearing loss. Some hearing aids also have dedicated tinnitus programs to help it be more manageable for you on a daily basis. These days, hearing aids come in many modern and discreet styles, so you are sure to find one for your current lifestyle. And overall, it is a wonderful, accessible tool to help improve your communication. Another well-recommended solution to someone suffering from tinnitus is something called sound therapy. And like all the solutions we're going to discuss today, while it won't cure tinnitus, it can lessen the burden and impact in your life. Essentially, with sound therapy, you take an external sound and listen to it to alter your perception to tinnitus and the impact. There are different approaches that are used with sound therapy. One of them is masking. Essentially, you take a noise that partially or completely covers the tinnitus. There's also distraction, where you listen to certain sounds to distract you from the tinnitus. And there's habituation. You listen to a sound that helps you train. Listening to certain sounds will help train you to view tinnitus as unimportant and a sound that can be consciously ignored. Traditional sound therapy devices are devices that generate ambient background noise, nature sounds, ocean waves, or white noise. Typically, these are devices that you can set on your bedside table. But the American Tinnitus Association notes that anything can be used for masking purposes, such as a TV, radio, fan, and so on. What's important is that the products that you choose in your sound therapy and masking are sounds that create positive emotions inside you, and of course are only used when your tinnitus is active and noticeable. A tip from one of our audiology externs is to keep your sound therapy or background noises at a low volume. If you make it too loud, your tinnitus will compete with the sounds to be louder as well. If you're curious about sound therapy or maybe want experience with background noise, you can take a screenshot of this slide here, which is a list of free apps for sound therapy and sleep and relaxation as recommended by an audiologist on the American Tinnitus Association's website. For many people, tinnitus is most noticeable during the quiet hours, so there might be an app here that can help you go to sleep and get a more restful night of sleep. One of the most effective and well-established treatments for managing tinnitus is behavioral therapy. With it, you'll learn how to focus on the activities that bring you joy, learn how to better relax, and lessen the unhelpful thinking that sometimes comes with having tinnitus. So how does it do this? Well, the goal is to teach you how to manage your emotional responses. The idea is that it's not the ringing of tinnitus itself that makes you frustrated. It's the emotional responses you have that create those unpleasant feelings. Now, we're not saying that tinnitus isn't annoying, upsetting, or frustrating. It can certainly be all those things. What behavioral therapy does is teach you skills to reduce the inner attention you give to tinnitus, how to improve your coping skills, and learn alternative thinking and behavior patterns. So instead of saying, gosh, I know I'm never going to have a good night's sleep ever again, well, you'll learn ways to shift that thinking into something more positive and actionable. Learning these mindset shifts can transform the effect tinnitus has on your mental health. If you're interested in behavioral therapies, please reach out to your doctor or audiologist to see if they know any behavioral specialists who do this sort of therapy. There are many options out there, and if you take a screenshot of this slide, you can look up these other tinnitus-related therapies to see if any of them are a good fit. And lastly, one more thing. There are some experimental therapies and drug therapies that are ongoing and exist, but because they are not verified by any safety or health organization, we urge you to proceed with caution if it's something you're interested in. Please speak with your doctor first, and please do as much research as you can. And lastly, there is something to be said about a healthy diet, exercise, being social, and doing hobbies that make you really happy. Aside from the obvious health benefits, staying active and making healthy choices reduces stress. This is important because for some people, stress actually makes their tinnitus worse. So, taking care of your health and exercising can make tinnitus more manageable in the long run. Not to mention, these positive diversions such as exercising or doing hobbies will mask the sounds of tinnitus. Sometimes you'll be too busy doing squats or lifting to realize your tinnitus is acting up. So don't forget the benefits of living a healthy lifestyle. So earlier we talked about potential causes of tinnitus. If you feel like any of these factors might contribute to your tinnitus, maybe it's something wrong with your TMJ, maybe you're taking ototoxic medications, etc., you should speak with your doctor to see if there could be a link. Seeing an audiologist would be a next step. There you can get a hearing evaluation because even a mild form of hearing loss can cause tinnitus symptoms. Afterwards, you can explore options to manage your tinnitus. Maybe you decide to opt for hearing aids. Maybe you want to experiment with some free background noise apps. There are many options for you. And if you haven't started to do this yet, we recommend to start taking notes about when, where, and how your tinnitus happens. Does it happen often at night? What about at your home versus while you're driving? How about if you've been really stressed or drinking a lot of caffeine? Does that have an effect? These notes are really helpful and can help your health team figure out an effective treatment plan that's specific to your situation. And that takes us to the end of this virtual presentation. If you have any questions about tinnitus, hearing health, or hearing loss, feel free to email our executive director or me. I left our emails on the screen here, so we'd be happy to get you helped out with any sort of question that you may have. If you're curious about when our next live webinar presentation will be, please make sure you're signed up for our email mailing list, which will be sent via info@hearcenter.org. Thank you and have a wonderful day.